Greetings. I wanted to talk to you today about magical spells. Actually, the truth about magical spells, and to be even more accurate, my truth about magical spells. And the reason I say my truth is because, yes, this is my opinion, and it's all a matter of opinion, isn't it, when we talk about magical spells? For most people, when you mention the word spell, what comes to mind is something that they have seen either in TV or in the movies, right? They think about the Charmed Sisters and the magic of three, the power of three, how they used their power when the three of them came together to defeat a demon or an evil warlock, or close up the hellmouth or whatever. Or we think of like Practical Magic, everybody's favorite movie. If you ask people their favorite magical movie, most people will say the Practical Magic right up there, and then right along with it, they're going to say they love the house so much they want to have that house. Even people who are not witches say that. It's so inviting. But they think about this curse. We think of a hex or a curse that was on this family. That anybody that they fall in love with, I think the story is anybody that they fall in love with is destined to die. And they go about trying to break that curse. So that's what we think about when we think of spells. But I want to tell you, for a practicing witch, that's really not spell work. I mean, it is, but it's very rare. I can probably count on one hand how many times I've actually have been called upon to use my powers to overcome an evil demon. It just hasn't happened yet. I mean, not that I wouldn't want to be prepared. You should be prepared for anything, but that's really not what I use my powers for. That's not what I use my knowledge of magic for. What I use my knowledge of magic for is small, everyday things. Small, everyday things. Of varying importance. But think about it. When we look at the tarot card of the tarot deck, if any of you are tarot readers, you look at the tarot deck, and we have them divided up into the major arcana and the minor arcana. And if you've watched any of my tarot videos, you've heard me say that yes, the major arcana are important. It's always important when a major arcana card shows up in a spread, and we have to pay attention because that's a big life event. That's a really big life event. But let's think about it. Most of our life is not made up of big life events. Big life events happen every now and then. But the day-to-day things, the very day-to-day things, the majority of the tarot deck is the minor arcana, which deals with the everyday things. How we communicate with people, how we feel about things, how we, what is important to us, our home, our family, our job, our health, right? Our passions, our ideas. That's the everyday things. And that is something that means that can make or break your life. People who are bogged down all the time by the little bitty stuff tend to be really bitter people, much more bitter than the people who had a horrible, horrible life event, a single horrible life event, or 2 or 3 single horrible life events. They are able to heal and move on usually from those, to a degree anyway, that their life can be pretty happy. It's very possible. But people who are caught up on the little things are the people that are just miserable. So it's the little things that can make or break you. Okay? And I think it's the little things in witchcraft that makes you a witch or not, makes you a good witch, I want to say, or not, because I know there are witches, and I don't want to get into a fight or argument. I will say that it's possible for people to call themselves a witch and never have done any magic. I don't know why they would call themselves a witch. They could just call themselves a pagan or whatever, but a witch is a person who has the craft, who lives the craft, practices the craft. That's what it is to me, and uses some kind of magic, some kind of influence in their life, whether it be from stones or tarot cards or tea leaves or some palm reading or whatever, or just communicating with the powers of the elements, the energies of the elements, and having a day-to-day life, a day-to-day practice with the god and the goddess, or one or the other. Some people only really emphasize either the male or the female deity. But anyway, so when we're talking about spell work, it's not really what I'm talking about. I'm not day to day breaking hexes or curses or binding people or drawing my lover to me in the passion and embrace that he's not going to be able to get out of. Although it's tempting sometimes, isn't it? But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the day-to-day things. And you've heard me use the term before, magical housekeeping, and that's what I'm doing here today. I'm doing a little bit of magical housekeeping. I did a little bit of spell work earlier, and I'm making up some, I've been making up some incense powders, special powders, because I want to update my page in my shop on the Burn and Crown website, which I will give you a link to below, especially about my spell kits. Now, why do I have spell kits? Well, first of all, I want to talk about let's go back just a little bit because this really isn't about my spell kits, but they're incidental to the video. What I really want to talk to you about is why do the housekeeping chores at all? Why do magical housekeeping chores at all? And therefore, why even have something called a spell kit or a spell kit? Excuse me. I don't know. I don't know why I'm drinking that wine. It really is not very good. But it's cold here today in California. It's very dark and very rainy, and my wine is warming me up a little bit right now. But anyway, I'm sorry to get off subject. Why do the housekeeping at all? Why are we going to do housekeeping? Well, think about it this way. When you have your house, when you set up your house, whether it's an apartment or a home, a house, or whatever it is, or a room, maybe you rent a room, when you set up your space of living, you do certain things in that living space. And let's take one thing, for example, that you do. You set up your bed, whatever you're going to sleep in, and you might even go out and buy some new sheets and quilts or blankets or whatever, and make up your bed and a nice soft pillow, and you make your bed, and which is an important part of our day. We spend many of us spend a third of our life in that bed. So it's real important, and you get all tucked in and cozy in your bed, and get a good sleep. And what happens then? Is that a one-time life event? Is it a one-time life event, making your bed and putting clean sheets on it? I hope not. In order to have a good bed and a healthy rest and sleeping, you have to, whether you make your bed daily or not, you have to sooner or later change those sheets. You got to wash them or throw them out and get new ones. You can't just do it one time and never go back and never do it again. It has to be done regularly. Some kind of a schedule of hopefully once a week, but some people do it, once every other week or once a month, or I suppose longer. I don't know, but I guess it's possible, but whatever your schedule is, it's important to you. But you do it once in a while. You have to dust your space or vacuum. Some people do it more often than not. You can't really say you never do it, because you kind of have to do it eventually. You're going to have to wash your dishes. But you just have to do it. It's a way of keeping your home usable, being able to live your life in your home. If you never cleaned it, never washed a dish. My daughter used to have a friend in school whose family used to keep all their dirty dishes in the oven. They didn't cook. They just microwaved food, and their dirty plates and stuff and dirty pots and pans, when they did cook once in a while, would go in the oven. And when it came time for like a holiday meal, or celebrate a holiday, or having some people there for dinner, they'd have to get those dishes out. Eventually, they could go a long time without dishes. But eventually those dishes had to come out of there, got too full, first of all, to hold new ones. And secondly, they had to be washed in order to be used again, or thrown away and got new dishes. So eventually we all have housekeeping we have to tend to. Okay? Now, it's easier to do, anybody who's trying to keep up a house, or even cleaning schedule, especially in our modern day, when we're all very busy, have a lot of other things to do, is get yourself a schedule. What day do you wash your sheets? Some people on Saturday, they do all their laundry. They go to the laundromat maybe on Saturday, or maybe they do the cleaning on Saturday, and on Sunday they maybe go to the laundromat or do their laundry if you work all week. You get a schedule of some kind. That's something that has to be attended to most times on a certain day to make sure it's done. Okay. But it's always easier. It's much easier to keep track. Everybody knows this, especially people that go to laundromats. You probably long for the day that you have a washer, and hopefully washer dryer maybe even, in your own home, in your garage or in your apartment or in maybe your building. That's really an advantage to you, because then you can do laundry all the time. You don't have to wait and do one day a week. You can do it. It's easier to do because you have your washing machine right there on hand. Mine is in my garage. I can wash clothes any day of the week. Something gets dirty, I want to soak it, I can put it right in the washer. So that's an advantage. Having your tools on hand or having a kind of schedule is really, really, really convenient. Well, the same goes for magical housekeeping. Having a schedule, having, first of all, your tools on hand. Let's talk about that first. If you have your tools that you need close by, you're more likely to use them. You're more likely to. I realize that not everybody has that privilege. I have a big house. I live in a big house, and I have several places in my house where I can store things. But not everybody has that option. Some people have to keep their things hidden from others that maybe they live with, or some people only have one room or a very small apartment. They don't have room to have much. So maybe they don't have a lot of tools. They don't have room to have as many tools as they might have. Okay? But maybe they can have like one box with some things in. What would you put in that one box? Okay? So having something on hand that you can pull out and do spell work when you need to would be really ideal, wouldn't it? And then, of course, having some kind of a schedule when you attend to magical things is important too, right? It's important. And I've showed you that. I've shared my pages in my journal, in the front of my journal, where I have that chart with my magical housekeeping chores. Let me see if I can find one. Just happen to have a journal right here. Let's see. Here's one where I don't know, you saw that I did some journaling here. This is from this one book that's first several parts of the year, where I did things like cleansing crystals or collecting rainwater or consecrating my tools or doing building a pet protection. You've seen me do that on this channel, or making house protection sachets or things for my home, right? That's a form of magical housekeeping. And then some things you do on certain days of the year, of the calendar year, and some things you do as you feel you need it to do. When you get new tools, you want to consecrate them to use in your practice. Okay, it's easier if you have the items at hand to do that, right? Okay, so what if you don't have a lot of space? Well, that's why that's one of the reasons that I started offering, the candle magic kits that I've been selling for people who need them on my website, on my Bird and the Crone website. And yes, I will put a link to it, but I'm updating the pages. This one page, this is the first one that I'm updating with some of my newer items, or just, what it is. But what I want to tell you is I have 3 different kinds of kits. And why do I have 3 different kinds of kits? Why am I offering kits in the first place? Other than, yes, it's a small little kit. My initial, which I have a whole video on that first one, came in a bag, this kind of a bag. This is not it. This is my witch's runes in this bag. But this is the exact bag, the size of the bag that my kit comes in. And in that kit comes, we had, it was for a basic introduction to candle magic, to using candles in magic, to using specific colors for magical spells. Now, do we need to have specific colors? No, absolutely we do not. But when I'm going to do a spell, I pull out all the guns, especially if it's an important spell, something I really like to happen. The more things that you can pull out, the better, is my opinion. within reason. But, like I can do any kind of a spell. We have a lot of power just with our basic intent. And a lot of people use their hands instead of tools and those kind of things. And I agree with those people. I understand. But if I want to do some kind of a spell and use candles, sometimes the candle helps focus our intention, as incense helps focus our attention. And sometimes it helps if we use specific colors, because certain colors have correspondences, basic correspondences that are based on the vibration of the color, the makeup of the color, the color waves, whatever, their frequency. It depends on a lot of things, but like certain colors are known for certain things. Okay, and I went through that in my candle kit. Do I have something? I have a lot of this stuff here because I was. Let's see where that is. Here. This is what I have this that I put in the kit. I've updated and I've laminated it so it's nice and I can use it over without getting messed up. But I have the color correspondences on one side, and I have the herb correspondences on the other side of the herbs that are included in the kit. And in the basic kit, I'm including 5 different colors, yellow, orange, pink, dark blue, and green, only for the for basic spells. And it lists on here what kind of spells you can use those for. There's a lot of things. Okay, like I'm going to pick one at pink. I'm taking pink at random. Pink can have to do with romantic love. It can have to do with friendship. It can have to do anything with partners. It can have anything to do with spiritual healing or emotional healing. It can have to do with protecting children from harm or from disease or from predators or whatever. Of course, remember, spells is not going to protect children from predators. You've got to protect them, use other means. But, that's part of it, okay? And that's one of the things I'm making is, be proactive in your spell work. Don't depend just on the spell. But anyway, it just increases the vibration of the spell. It increases the power, let's say, of the spell if we use a color that might correspond. Also, we can use different herbs, and I include in this kit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different herbs, all of which are very good herbs for a combination, and each one has for instance, I include cinnamon. Cinnamon is perfect for anything you want to do fast. You want to do raise it. You want to do it fast. You want to do it big. Heat it up. I call it heat it up, speed it up, raise it up. Anything that you really want to bring some oomph. Cinnamon is great for that. So you can add that to any of your spells. Also, it helps raise the spiritual vibrations. It helps to draw money and prosperity. It stimulates the psychic powers, and it also can bring passion. So you could add cinnamon to any of your spells that have to do with any of those things. You see my point? So you can use combinations, any combinations of these herbs. And I give you a packet of each, and each packet has enough that you can use it for several different spells, right? 1 candle per spell, but you have 5 candles you have 5 candles in the kit, so you're capable of doing 5 candles, and you still might have some things left over from that. I also include things like this tile. I don't want to dump this because I was doing something on it earlier. You could say that it's burned down. But it's a ceramic tile. It's handmade tile in Mexican tile, and it's I love it because it's a good surface. It's a heat-proof surface. You can burn right on it. We can attach our candles right to it. And I did something on it that included, I'll show you later what it included, but it really burned very, very hot, and the wax melted, spread out a good bit. And these tiles, because of the way they're made, they're slightly concave, not enough to notice, but they're slightly concave. So the wax doesn't flow out over your table, onto your table. It stays confined within, pretty good, right within the tile, especially if you keep your candles and things in from the edge. But this is the perfect surface for that. So that's included in the basic kit. Like I said, the herbs. I also have in there a 10-penny nail that you can inscribe your candle with, your intention right on your candle. I have a small black candle. I also have the citrine. I have a citrine stone. which I use citrine almost all the time in my spells. The vibration goes into the spell, the zone from your spell. So if you do the spell on the tile and you want to carry then that with you and keep it with you until the spell comes to fruition, then that's really nice. And the good thing about citrine is it's self-cleansing. So you can then just, put it on your altar or whatever. You don't have to cleanse it. It cleanses itself. When it's finished with whatever it does, you can use it for another thing. So you can use that same stone for any kind of spell you do over and over again. Okay, so it really has a really good, very, very useful for spell work. And then, of course, I include parchment, a piece of parchment paper in there for you to write your intention on. And that's all shown, and it shows in the video. And I'll link it to the video. And I also did the video that I used to talk to you about that kit. I showed you very specifically how I used it. I did a spell I did one for the protection of my chickens. For protecting my chickens, I was making a sachet, actually to hang out on their houses, hanging on their houses now. I used the candle magic kit to do a spell for them, and I did it. I would never do, even though I've sort of shown you a little bits of other things that I have done on video, I really will never show you the entire spell because some things that I say, or maybe even some things that I do, are really private, and I do that off camera. I don't want to put it on camera. But I put enough of that spell on camera, so that you can actually see how I use that kit, what I use it for, what kind of things we might say. Like when you talk about your raising the energy of your, of your intention, raising the energies around that. And I did it on camera. But I want to say, a few people have questioned, oh, look, she's doing a chicken spell, isn't that cute? Well, okay, my chickens are very important to me, and I was really serious about the spell. But also, didn't I just say at the beginning of this video that spells are about those small little things? Why indeed would I not do a protection for my chickens? And what would my intention be of my protection? If the intention of protecting my chickens was my true intention, that's what I would be saying. Keep my chickens safe or whatever. That's what I would be saying over and over again. That's what I wanted. Keep them happy. Keep them healthy. That's what I said. Okay? So I'm showing you it's very important. That's very important. Your intention and stating your intention, both in writing and in speaking your intention, are very important. So anyway, I'm going to link to those down in this description box here so that you can go back and you can see that video. And I will also provide a link to the page. But then I want to tell you about the 2 new things that I've added. I've added 2 new bits to my spell kits. Excuse me. What is the matter with me that I'm drinking that? I don't even know. Anyway, I feel so cheap. I have an extension kit. I've come up with an extension kit, and I have an example of it right here. And here, this one comes in the little gauze bag. But in this one, the extension kit contains things that were not, one thing that was not in that first kit, and that is the colors. A candle, I have black. It contains a black and a white candle. And then it contains 2 red and 2 purple candles. It also has the oil. It will have the oil. Like I have here, the same. This is my concentration oil that I mix up. And that you use to oil the candle. And then once the candle's oiled, then you put the herbs on the outside. There are packets around these outer, whatever you choose to make up, your combination of herbs that are in here. Okay, so it includes that, and grind them up with a mortar, using a mortar and pestle, or you can put it in a spice grinder if you want to. I suppose you can chop it up. which, by the way, when I send you incense blends or most mixed, if I send you mixed, I have them small, but I don't have them powdery. Most of the time they're not powdery because that's a matter of taste. Some people really like when they pinch incense or whatever, they pinch it. They want to really be able to feel that and see the bits in their fingers. And to me, I sort of like that. But so I blended in a powder. Like this would be blended in a powder. Here you see, this is more in a powder. We'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, in this kit, you just have the same. You have the same combination. I think pretty much the same combination of herbs that we had in the first packet. But it's another supply because they're so useful for so many things. But anyway, why am I including the red and the black? Well, first of all, white and black and red and purple in the extension. White and black candles you can use for anything. White, anything. And usually we think of white candles as calling magic. When you want to bring something to you. So what would you want to bring to you? You might want to bring health to you. You might want to bring romance to you, friendship to you, a job opportunity, a new job to you. Oh, I want to get that new house. I put a bid on the house. Bring that to me. Bring my home to me. Bring, safe travels to me. Bring something to me. Good luck. Going to Vegas. Bring me some luck. I want a raise, so I need a raise at my job. Bring me some prosperity, some money. Black candles are usually used to pushing away things you want to draw, okay, or keep from, protect from. You want to push away danger. You want to push away evil. You want to push away hexes. You want to push away curses. You want to push away any negative energies of any kind. You want to keep them away. Illness, keep it away. Alcoholism, keep it away. You see what I mean? You can use anything, white or black, depending on your wordage. You can almost use it for the same thing. Disease, keep it away. Health, bring me good health, keep disease away. Do you see how you can do the white or black? But they can be used for any kind of magic, any kind. And some people only use white candles, some people only use black candles, some people only use white and black. They don't even use the colors. So that's a potential too. But I like to have the colors. I think it's nice, and I like to offer the kit. A red and purple. Now, people have differences of opinion what they do for red and purple, but the consensus is red is usually doing. Red represents sexual. If you're talking about sexual love and lust, for most people that's red. Even though some people, because they find they're very passionate about purple, they might think of purple as passion, but maybe not. But which I agree. I think purple is passion. But if you're talking about less sex or increasing your sex, sex, I want more sex. It doesn't have to be passionate for some people. Forget my meaning. Or you might just want love. I just want a partner. You would go for red. Passionate, if you want somebody to be passionate. If you want your lover to be passionate. Or you might want to do a red and a purple if you want your lover to want you in a passionate way. But now you see we're getting into something that, and purple I also want to say is good for increasing psychic ability or, communicating with spirits. So if you're looking for that kind of communication, if purple is really good for that. Now, as you can see, maybe you can see, I'm not sure, but I sort of have a difference between the candle colors that I've offered in the first kit with the candle colors I offer in the second kit. Because the first kit are really basic. For beginning people, I don't think you should start out trying to increase passion in your lover. I mean, as tempted as you to do, or binding your neighbor, which, I don't want you to do. So, I'm not going to encourage you to do that until you know what can happen, the basics of spell work. So I hold off the red and the purple and the black, basically, for, and the white, for once you get a little more experience. Once you get them under the wing with the basic kit that you would get in this bag, then you might want to branch out and do a little bit more. Or for those of you, if you're already experienced, you might want to. Because this is a nice size that you can carry with you. As you can see, you don't have to have a whole cupboard. I have a whole cupboard. If you remember some of the tours I've done from some of my witches' cupboards, I've got jars and bags and boxes of stuff everywhere. And I can just pick out what you need and give it to you in a kit form. This is much easier to have if you have limited space. Okay, so you can use something simple like this. Now, this is what we call the extension kit. It doesn't have the tile. It just has the candles, the herbs, and it will have an oil. But it does not have the other things in it. Because you've already, first of all, you already received the tile maybe, or you don't need it, or this is just, it's meant to not be that, it's complete in itself. You don't need anything else. You can use candle holders. You can use anything. I'm just saying that I'm not duplicating that as a part of this. It's a much different thing, and it's lower priced. As a result, it's reflected in the price. Okay. Now, the last thing that I'm offering, I have what I call special candle spell kits. And if any of you have been on my website before, you might have already seen that I had on my incense page, the same page where I offer my incense blends for the elements and for the Sabbats and for the full and new moon. On that page where I have the blends that I've made up for those specific things, I offer special incense blends for intention, for a specific intention. Okay. I am now offering a kit for that special intention. So for instance, that kit is going to contain, like if you want a prosperity spell, for example, you want to do a prosperity spell, or money, it's about money, gaining some money or some, okay, you would select the prosperity, and in that kit, you would get, I'm looking at my notes to make sure I'm saying this right. You're going to get 7 candles, 7 of these size candles. Okay? Just like these, 7 of these. You're going to get 1 black and 1 white, just like we got in this thing. But then you're going to get 1 black and 1 white. You're going to get, yes, 3, 4. You're going to get 3 of one kind of candle. 3 of candles that are special for your intention. And here is an example. This is something I want to show that I have used. It's going to be, here I have, this is, by the way, this isn't even the color I offered to my kit. This is brown, which I use brown because I'm doing a special spell here with brown candles. But I just wanted to show you what they entail. And what I have done is I've specially dressed these candles with intention. Okay, I've added color to the candles with, and I've added gemstones to the candle. And of course, then we'll have the oil. We'll have the oil with it. All the kits come with this, the oil, which has my intention in it. And this is my recipe, which I do not give this recipe away. And a special incense powder. A special incense powder. And in this case, it is a powder. I do it as a powder. I pretty much blend it down to, powder form. Because this can be used for, remember when we showed you how to dress a candle? I put a little bit, this is how I dress them for spell work. I put a little bit of this oil, shake it up. There's things in it, so you want to shake it so that the stuff is dispersed all throughout the oil. And then put a little dab in my hand, and then I take a candle and I roll it in the hand to get it all covered with that oil. Get it completely covered. And then I rub my hand, the remaining oil, I don't wash it off. I rub it into my hand, and it's nothing that's going to hurt your hands. It's just a little tiny bit of carrier oil. In this case, I think it's not going to hurt you. And then I can take the candle, and I can, with the incense blend, I can sprinkle incense blend all over it, and it will stick to the candle. Okay? And then, of course, you'll see in the video, you can adhere it to the tile. And so when that burns, it's going to burn the stuff that's on the outside, and and increase the intention of the candle, because this is herbs. This is a mixture made specifically for that purpose. It will be for prosperity, or it will be for what are some of the other ones? Let's see. I don't know. I can't think. Probably sexual love or lust, or love and lust. One for maybe physical or spiritual healing. Probably is one of them. Anyway, they're listed on the website. They're listed on the website. But anyway, the powder is made with an intention. So the powder is made with my intention. The oil is made with my intention. The candle is made with my intention. It is dressed in such a way. And then this stuff is all put on my altar and charged for you with my intention to raise the energy of the kit. And then I will probably include something in that kit, extra things. And you will see in the picture, if you go and look at the picture, I'll try to close the picture set up, how I have mine set up. Oh, and there's 3 candles. So you can do a spell that uses one and do it 3 times. Some people do it every 3 days in a row for one spell. Or you can do it 1 candle and save the other 2 candles for 2 other times. Or you can put big guns and use all 3 candles in one. That's up to you. Like if it's something you really, really want to put a lot of power out there, you can use all 3 candles. So that's completely up to you. 1 candle should be fine. 1 candle should be plenty for it. But, you get the option with the 3, okay? And then I probably, you can use your citrine left over if you have bought the other kit, or a stone of your choice to boost power. You might want to add other things to it. I think in my thing I added 2 things for sure. In mine, I added a magnetite in mine because that was a drawing spell. I wanted to draw something towards me. So I used that in my spell. I used a silver cord in my spell. That was private to me and personal to me what I was doing. But I'm saying you can always add things. But I will, in this kit, probably add 1 or 2 little items that I might think might help you out if you want to. Maybe a little charm or a little stone of some kind, or some, gemstone. Something that I think might help you or not. If you don't want to use it, you don't have to use it. But it's just there if you want to use it. I'm not telling you need to use it because I don't even know if I would use it. It's just like, especially those of you who are limited. Like I use what I think when I was building this spell today, I went around and found what I thought I could use. This is something that came to me at the last minute. Somebody just gifted me this. I think at Yule, I got it at Yule, which was so terribly cool. I thought it was very cool. Somebody brought it to me from, I think, Utah. Did it come from Utah? Yes, Iron Mountain in Utah, which I thought was so cool. And I thought, this is the energy I need from this. It's going to be really good to draw something towards me. So I just picked this up and put it in my spell. But you don't have to have something like that. You can do. I was just going to use the silver cord to draw something to me. But you don't have to have it. It's up to you. But especially if you're somebody who's buying kits from me, I think that you might not have a lot of stuff in your own home to put in there. You might not know what's appropriate. You're still at the beginning stages. So I'll probably put 1 or 2 little items in there for you. So I can't say what they are because I'm not sure. Whatever, it depends on the spell that you're doing, which one of the spells that you choose. So I will just pick out something I think is appropriate for those spells or not. And if you don't want to use them, keep them for some other reason. Or get rid of them. Or pass them on. That's okay. Okay? Anyway, that's just about all I wanted to talk about. I wanted to say that. I know some of you in the past have not been real happy with me trying to find stuff on my website. And I realize my website's a little tricky to maneuver. And part of that is because it is a blog site. It's a blog site. So it is set up that it is a blog primarily. So when you go to the home page, the first page you see is particularly is my latest, whatever I put up there, my latest blog post. And I haven't put up posts in quite a while, a blog post, so it's probably a pretty old post, I think. So if you want to find something in the shop, you have to look up at the top of the menus in the top and click on them to get a pull down menu. And then maybe you can see what I've offered. If that's too hard for you to maneuver, I understand. So that's why I want to have a video such as this. I will put a link in the description box below of exactly, it should take you to the page where you can find one of these kits. Okay, if you're looking for spell kits. Okay. The only other thing I have to say about spell kits, I think, I don't want to talk too much, is that I want to make it very clear that I do not sell spells. I do not sell spells. I also do not write spells for other people. I won't do that. Don't ask me to sell you a spell. I don't believe in selling spells. I know people do, and that's perfectly fine. I like to sell, I think selling the tools for spell is a completely different thing because I have them for you. Finding these little chime candles is not easy in the good colors. And sometimes they're good. And remember, I don't know if you remember, but I talked to you about candles before, how sometimes you buy them and they're a color on the outside and they're just painted and it's not even real all the way through candle wax. These are really good, and I have a good source for these. And it's a local shop that can get them for me, and I like to. She knows gives me a good price so that I can give them to you at a good price. I don't sell the candles, but I sell them in kits. Okay, for my classes that I've done, I have them for that, and so I will be happy to do, and I will be happy to dress them. But I want to say, I just want to remind you, this is what I want to say. When the candle burned down, this burned really hot, very hot. Now, be careful if you're going to put something on your candles, like dress them like I did here. What are you putting on there? Is it something that burns well? This is cotton, 100% cotton cord, so this is fine. It's a natural fiber, so that burns really well. These are gemstones. These are not plastic beads. I'm not setting fire to plastic. These are gemstones. And when I burn them down, there's still gemstones in the ash. there's still gemstones, okay? But the cord that was holding them on there, burned as well. But also, I think the glue that I used just to adhere this onto the candle made it glow. Part of that was it burned hot. But also, I noticed when the candle was burning down, the wick was, like, even though I had the wick trimmed, remember I said you need to trim the wick until 1/4 inch before you use it. Okay, so you want to trim it to get it to burn properly. But even still, it was burning down and there was a big piece of wick still exposed as the candle wax was burning down, because the wick was actually probably too big for the candle. Wick sizes and the kind of wick and the size of the wick is just as important in making candles as is the intention you're going to use the candle for, whether you're going to have it in a votive or not, in a votive or in a tea light, or they're different kind of waxes. You can't use the same blend for everything and the same wicks for everything. They're different. So it was okay, but I wanted to make sure that my surface that was really fireproof. And of course I did not walk away from it. And I was prepared. If I had to blow it out, I would have blown it out when it got down here, but it was fine. I was able to. It just burned hot. It was fine. I was sitting with it, and I had a can ready to go. If it got too hot, to drop that can over and suffocate it immediately but I didn't need to. So I don't think it's a problem. There's no problem with what I would test everything before I will sell you anything. But I just want to warn you, if you want to do the same kind of things yourself, be really careful what kind of materials you use. Okay? I wouldn't try to burn this. This has the cotton cord inside, but this also has this metallic, who knows what, made up of shiny, metally stuff. I don't know what it is. That it's pretty and shiny. It will not burn. This will not burn. I will not burn it. Okay. We don't want those kind of toxic fumes in our homes or anywhere if we can help it. Okay? So anyway, I think that's all I wanted to say. I will put the link. Like I said, I will put the link. I appreciate it. Everything that I sell, I will not sell you the spell. And I also will not write your spell. Like I show you, I tell you how to do it. There's a lot of places online that will. There's a lot of places online. You can look up, or a lot of books even have some sample spells if you need them. But like I said, I showed you a very simple way to do a spell. You can watch that video again if you're not sure. And use it as a jumping off point to see what you might want to do on your own. And again, I also have said, if you get things from me and like incense ones or whatever, they're in a big, it's coarse. It's not fine enough. Just, I have it that way so that you can grind it down if you want to. And sometimes that helps when you put your intention into something using, a mortar and pestle, particularly if you have one. I really recommend it because it helps you get your intention into the herbs, even though the herbs came from me. This is a way of adding them to your own if you want to. And then you can break it down as small as you want it. But, or break part of it down as small as you want it. But you don't have to at all. It's perfectly fine the way it is, in your packages. You can have, it just burns, coats a little better and goes a little further when you have it like this. And for the spells. And then I have a lot of this left over for other spells in the future. Okay. But don't expect, if you get something like this from me, don't expect the package to be as full as if it were bigger pieces. Okay. Anyway, now I'm just talking to hear myself talk. I don't mean to. Anyway, thanks for watching. And again, like I said, it all goes to PayPal. And if there's any problems with PayPal, you can always leave me a message or either here or on my Burning the Crone page on Facebook. And, or of course, goodwife@coxnet is my email. If you need to get in touch with me, goodwife@coxnet. I'm not real good about messages. I have so many messages all the time that keep up with them. So I'll get to things eventually. Just hang in there. If you don't hear from me, maybe you want to repeat, send me another one. Okay? Anyway, that's all. I'm just talking and talking. And I'm really hungry. It's way past my dinner time. So thank you for watching. As always, I'm Rebecca, and I wish you blessings. Cheers.